Welcome back. If you were out traveling, flying around this weekend, you may have experienced some serious delays at the airport as demand for travel is growing. Airlines continue to deal with pilot shortages. Our next guest says the demand might not actually last. So what effect is that going to have on the industry? Melius Research Director Conor Cunningham is joining us now. So Conor, obviously we're heading now past summer, past the big increase, the big surge in travel that we had seen. What is happening? What are you already seeing in terms of demand as we head into the fall and winter?
Thanks for having me. This weekend was okay. We saw numbers above 2019 levels for the first time in some time. That's encouraging. Leisure, as you mentioned, is going to start to trend off just seasonally. I dropped my kids off to school today. This is really going to be the business travel season. So that's the big question mark for a lot of investors. Just how strong is it going to be? One thing that we've been looking at a fair bit is airlines with international exposure should be okay. We've seen international demand remain pretty robust for quite some time. You mentioned earlier on your program the dollar index is at all-time highs. So you're getting more for what you're doing internationally. So that's an encouraging sign. But yeah, the real question mark is really around business travel. We struggle with the idea just around capacity right now. As you mentioned, there were a lot of delays over the weekend. Delays are better than cancellations. Well, obviously not great, but we're moving in the right direction, I guess. And so there still is a lot of uncertainty about 2023 and what that's going to look like. Our preference right now is airlines that are willing to be smaller for longer are the ones that are going to perform the best. That's the Deltas of the world, Southwest to some extent, and Alaska Air Group is our other top pick.
Conor, we've been talking all morning long about rising energy prices in Europe because of what's going on there with Russia and as it battles the Eurozone. You don't think that's going to have an impact on those international focused airlines?
It's not. Well, it's U.S. point of sale. So, people flying from the United States to Europe are not going to be as impacted as much. It's when we think about point of sale from international to the U.S., that's where things are a little bit more dicey. I'm less concerned about that. Airlines do a pretty good job of changing where they're going to sell their tickets and really driving demand there. So that's not too big of a concern from us. Again, like the ones that I think, if you can be smaller for longer, you maintain some sort of pricing power. And as long as the demand is still there and we don't head into some massive recession, things will be okay, I think.
Conor, I think I asked you this the last time we talked to you, and I keep hoping for a different answer. Are prices going to start to come down?
My hope is that they don't. So again, I think that airlines, they need to be really disciplined with their capacity at the end of the day. That's the only way that you maintain pricing power. There will be some airlines that will want to grow a fair bit. The ultra low cost carriers talk about 30% growth in 2023. We'll see if that actually materializes again. They're banking on, Airbus and Boeing kind of getting their act together and delivering the aircraft on time. They got to get back to growing for prices to kind of come down. And again, my preference is that they remain smaller for longer. So they maintain some sort of pricing power. This should be a euphoric moment for the airlines. Again, there's never been an environment where capacity's been constrained as much as it has. They got to get out of their own way and kind of fix operations that we mentioned earlier. So we'll see. I'm hopeful that pricing power will be maintained on some level, but there will be the opportunities for cheaper fares. If you're willing to look off peak, fly on Tuesdays, come back on Saturdays, that type of thing. So, you will have your opportunity to take your cheaper vacation from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Conor, you've mentioned business travel several times. Is there one airline poised to really crush it for business travel for this holiday season, and why might they?
So Delta is our top pick when we think about international and business-related demand. They're traditionally the largest business-oriented airline out there. There's some hopeful signs of people returning to the office a lot more in droves. I know New York is kind of up and about right now, so we'll see. Again, given where the stock is, right around $30, people aren't banking on a huge surge in demand for corporate. We are hopeful that it will show some modest improvements over the next couple of months. It's corporate travel can be fickle at that time, so we will see. But there is some encouraging steps being made from there, just from a return to office standpoint.
Conor, the flip side, what airline stock would you not touch with a 10-foot pole?
The stocks are all down a lot over the last couple of months. JetBlue we've always struggled with. They're going through a major merger. That's one that we aren't all that comfortable with in the near term. The stock is getting cheaper and cheaper, so we will see. But overall, we're relatively neutral in the space. We really struggle with just, again, the outlook for stabilized capacity and whatnot. So if your expectation is that you're going to grow a lot, into 2023, that is up for serious debate, I believe. And so, again, you got to have the coming to Jesus moment where capacity just isn't going to be what it is in 23, and you're going to have to really work on your cost structure and develop a plan that will overcome a lot of the inflationary pressures. So, JetBlue in the near term is one that we struggle with a fair bit.
All right, Conor, thanks so much for your perspective. Really appreciate it. Conor Cunningham, Melius Research Director. Appreciate that.